Hi everyone, this reading will be for Thursday, May 7th, and your affirmation is, I rejoice in others' successes, knowing that there is plenty for us all. For our reading today, I decided to use the Chakoli Tarot, and your first card is Judgment. And the Judgment card has a few meanings. First, it can relate to the obvious that some of us are maybe judging others harshly, or perhaps you might feel judged by someone else. Now is a time to acknowledge the past and what you believe was done to you and let go. It's time to release any anger or resentment that you have towards others so that you can move on. This also represents a new start in a way that you have forgiven others for the past and now you're ready to move on. Or it can simply mean that you're seeing an old situation in a new light, a way that brings about a new understanding to this old situation. And sometimes this new awareness, the ability to see from another perspective, is what can actually help in letting go. But either way, holding on to pain and resentment or unforgiveness from the past has no benefits. It only robs you of the ability to live in the now, the opportunity to experience joy in this present moment. You're being asked to forgive, to let go, and to move on. And next we have the Ten of Swords. And the Ten of Swords is about someone who feels down in the dumps, and maybe someone who's in the victim mentality, and they're probably feeling like they have been wronged or mistreated in some way, but their feelings are a little exaggerated. This is someone who's most likely, as I said, in the victim mentality, maybe someone who's throwing themselves a pity party. So now we can see the reason why the Judgment card came up, because some of you might feel like you've been wronged and you might have a legitimate reason to feel that way, and maybe you're still feeling hurt and you're finding it really hard to let go of anger and resentment of another person. Some of you are probably struggling with forgiveness, or perhaps it's someone else in your lives who's feeling this way about you. And I also think this card can be about self-judgment and criticism. If so, this would be a really good time to work on self-love. The relationship that you have with yourself is the most important relationship that you're ever going to have in life. Always love yourself. Always be mindful of negative self-talk, and never say anything about yourself that you wouldn't say to the person that you love most in this world. Remember that it's perfectly normal to have hurt feelings. We feel like we've been mistreated by others sometimes, but this card represents someone who's being perhaps a little too sensitive or a little too overly dramatic. Maybe someone who takes things too personally. And that happens a lot. Maybe you're someone who is more upset than you should be about a certain situation. So just think about it. Think about where your feelings are coming from. Are these feelings coming up because of how you feel about yourself? Maybe you're feeling unworthy in some way, and maybe you're expecting people to treat you in this way. And that happens sometimes when people are in the victim mentality. But I think some of you may also be holding on to anger or resentment of something that happened a long time ago. And when you start blaming others for things that go wrong in your life, for not having the life that you want, for missed opportunities, you're giving your power away. You're making them responsible for your lack of success, for your lack of happiness, for your life, when in truth, we hold the power. We are responsible for our own lives. No one can take advantage of you unless you allow them to. And I feel like this card is asking you to get out of victim mentality, to accept responsibility for your own life, your own actions, and your own feelings, and find a way to forgive this person and move on. Finally, we have the Ten of Wands. And so seeing this card, I'm sort of thinking that this might be about situations regarding work for some of you, or home life, where you're taking on way too many responsibilities and you're not being fairly compensated for it. Or maybe you're just not being appreciated. And I feel like instead of doing something or saying something, just speaking up and insisting on fair treatment, Some of you are probably staying in this situation, and by doing so, you are allowing this treatment to continue, which is probably making you resentful of others. So remember, no one can take advantage of you unless you allow it. So speak up, do something, bring about change if you have to, but don't stay in this situation. Sometimes when you're staying in a situation where you're constantly upset, eventually you're going to reach your boiling point and you're just going to explode, and that is going to make things worse. But I also think this card might be about someone who's feeling overburdened, which definitely helps to give more insight into this situation. I think this could be about your emotions that are overwhelming you. You may feel like someone has mistreated you, but the Judgment card is asking you to forgive and move on. And what could help is learning to see the situation from a different perspective, a higher perspective, which may help you to come to a new understanding where you can finally move on and let go. Because when you're looking at it from a higher perspective, you understand that there are certain things that you have to learn in life, certain things that might not be pleasant. And you also make agreements with people before you come here that they're going to teach you these things that you need to know. So that is why you're going through certain situations that may seem troubling with other people, because you have something to learn. And these situations are not going to go away until they teach you what you need to know. So you can either learn this now by learning how to stand up for yourself and forgiving and letting go, or you can allow this situation to continue. So I hope that you are able to learn your lessons, you are able to forgive and let go, and you are able to stand up for yourself when you need to. So I thank you all so much for watching. I love you all, and I'll be back on Saturday.